You're listening to Keith Engle, the host of TGI Sports Talk on the National Streaming Sports Broadcast Channel.
Good evening, everybody. Keith Engle here for TGI Sports Talk's College Football Huddle. How's everybody doing tonight? Just off a spirited, unprofessional, professional sports show. Good to be here live with you. We talk about college football for the next hour and a half or so. Lots to talk about. We can talk some basketball if you want, but I don't think we have time and or the wherewithal to talk about college basketball after one game, and it's only November. We'll get into that later on, but we got lots to talk about. We'll welcome on the platforms. Anybody watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, we welcome you. The groups, you see our favorites always scrolling at the bottom of the screen. John Gonzalez at the Sports Authorities, Greg Rawlings. America's Pastime doesn't necessarily apply to this, but some of his other groups do. Flo and Can are back. Flo's back, I should say, stateside. We thank him again for keeping this country safe, or helping to do so anyway. They'll be back doing their podcast as well on Let's Talk Sports, another good friend of the show. Flo and Can, by the way, are Bottom Line Sports. They do their podcast on Let's Talk Sports and some other platforms. Good friend of this show as well. Ken Krause, sports of all, Golf Bud, sports of all sorts. Quick shout out to Ralph Williams at RW Media. Get well soon, Ralph. I know Ralph's laid up in the hospital a little bit with some issues, but should be getting out soon. He does a lot of stuff out of Ocean City, Maryland, specifically the Sports Corner on Tuesdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern with Smoking Jim Frazier. A couple of housekeeping things, which I'll talk about again later in the show. This will be our last show from the studio for a couple weeks. We'll find time to go live. I'll be away for 2 weeks. We'll find time to go live from the cruise ship, the Venezia. Sometime next Wednesday or Thursday. We'll see how it goes. Won't be 7 o'clock. It'll probably be during the afternoon. I'll give you guys a heads up and try to get many people in as we can, and we'll talk about at least get in and talk about the current update to the college football poll, which we have the first one this week, which we'll talk about. Fridays, Mac and Jack. There you go. Mac must be watching over me tonight. Friday's Jack and Keith's Weekend Playbook will be previously recorded on Thursday night. We'll do that show Thursday afternoon late. We'll get that show in the can, so we won't be live. Maybe I'll go live Thursday afternoon to get some comments and then replay it. Not sure yet. We'll see how that goes. We're also putting some shows in, so there will be filler shows for Jack and Keith's Weekend Playbook. For the Monday and Fridays that I'm away. It'll be 3 shows. I think I'm going to be able to do the 21st from my brother and sister-in-laws in Florida. We'll do it remote from there. It's too hard to do on the ship for those shows. But we're going to put some stuff in the can. We did one the other day talking about Major League Baseball and some nostalgic type stuff right up to the present time. We did a show about boxing, which turned into a little bit of an interview of Jack Hirsch, and we're going to do one more tomorrow, which it might be an NBA preview. I'm not really sure what it's gonna turn out to be, unless we pivoted already on our topics. We decided at the last minute what they'd be, so same thing could happen tomorrow. But we'll keep you updated on that, and I'll post some stuff to keep you updated. Last week, guys. Interesting. Let's see what's going on here. Who's here with us saying hello? Hello, Michael. Good to have you with us, as always. Danny Fuller's with us. Good Wednesday afternoon to you, my friend. And Alan. Boomer. Big win at Neyland Stadium. Good win. It was a very good win for Oklahoma. Oklahoma ends up 12th in this first poll. This will not stay as it is, by the way. And unfortunately, we were starting this week, which we are not. Texas and Oklahoma would be dropped out of those 11 and 12 spots in order for Virginia, the ACC winner, today, and Memphis, the Group of 5 winner, today to move up. We'll talk more about that and some of these teams' chances to move up and what it might look like going forward. All these teams have a chance to improve their lot. I mean, Texas controls their own destiny. I would say Oklahoma controls their own destiny. If you win out where you are, you'll likely get in because somebody's going to fall in front of you. Last week, Jesus, what were the big games from last week? Alan already talked about the nice win at Neyland, Rocky Top for Oklahoma, good win. Tennessee's still got a good football team. Their fans are like, they expect national championships. They want Josh Heupel to get fired. Do you know where this program was when he got hired? Pay attention. Notre Dame had a little bit of a tough time with BC, but gets a win. All they got to do is win out, and they're in. Penn State gave Ohio State a rough time for almost a full half and then fell backwards. Texas with a nice win at home against Vanderbilt. Arch Manning played very well. The defense was stout until it wasn't midway through the third quarter. So the Vanderbilt started coming back, and Texas barely holds on here. In fact, they almost lost the final onside kick. You were fortunate to have that go out of bounds. Georgia squeaks one out over Florida, again finding a way to win. Texas Tech with a nice win over Kansas State. They got a big game this week against BYU. Big playoff implications. Ole Miss beats up on South Carolina. Georgia Tech with a horrible loss. Horrible loss. One thing to take away from this poll I'll get into, the ACC will get no respect. And I'm not saying they deserve it, but they're going to get one bid. And this first poll, without the sky falling in, this poll will tell you all you need to know about the ACC. The fact that their conference champion would have to get moved up to get in the field is interesting. Utah with a big win over Cincinnati, a statement win. They are not out of this either. I think they're at 14 right now. And USC with a nice win on the road against Nebraska. And Nebraska quarterback goes down, out for the year, unfortunately. Navy, the Group of 5, by the way, last week. I'm telling Memphis is it right now, but watch out for James Madison. Watch out for San Diego State. I know you keep telling me about a loss they got, Danny, but it's not going to matter. That loss won't matter. If they win the Mountain West and the American Conference beats themselves up some more, San Diego State now has votes in the AP poll. The college football poll doesn't go any deeper than 25. Where's my poll? Somebody move my poll. That sounds awful. I'm sorry. Oh, my God. That sounds awful. Right now, so Cincinnati sits at 25. That's 77 votes, okay? Where's Memphis at? 224, 8-1. If they win the conference, they win. They're in. But here's the teams behind them. We talk about South Florida. They're not even the next in line. James Madison's at 53 votes. And by the way, if they keep winning and Memphis loses, Memphis is going to drop like a rock with a loss or two. And San Diego State has 30. They have steadily moved up. Neither one of these teams had any votes 2 weeks ago. So they're still in it. North Texas put themselves a bit in that American race as well last week with that big win over Navy. So some of the takeaways from last week, we'll look at the poll here in a second. Hello, Paul. How are you? Good to have you with us. Chris Fgrave, our Canadian correspondent, is with us. What does Boston College need to do to turn things around? Spend money. That's the name of the game now. Bill O'Brien looked like he had his team on the path till about midseason last year, and the bottom fell out, and the bottom's fallen out even worse this year. Bill O'Brien, I'd give him another year, but Boston College may not. They haven't had no stability there for decades, and they're not going to compete. Boston College is not in a position to compete with the big boys in the ACC. They're just not. I mean, they're going to throw a competitive season in here and there, but they're not going to compete until unless they decide they want to commit. And that means alumni and NIL people and blah, 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 blah. That's the game of the game today. Tennessee fans are rabid. You live there. It is crazy. I mean, seriously, some of their chat groups, it's amazing number of people said Josh Heupel has to go. Do they remember where this team was when he came in there, where Jeremy Pruitt had them, where they were with, again, for the last decade or maybe longer? When was the last time where Tennessee was relevant to this extent? Consistently. Josh Heupel's done a great job there. Great job. Hello, Janae. Big BYU fan. I like, again, you know what? Another tough test. BYU's been running a gauntlet lately, and they got, the remaining giant, if you will, of this year in the Big 12 this week in Texas Tech. Flo's team. I don't know if Flo's with us tonight, but that's Flo's team. So I'm rooting for BYU. 7th. Where are they? 7th in the initial college football playoff poll. That's a good spot. I've got no arguments here. I mean, look, you can quibble that Alabama shouldn't be 4th. Listen, they're playing. Forget about Florida State. That was a freaking year ago, basically. You can throw that game out the window. They're playing as well as anybody in the country. Like I know quibbles with Georgia and Ole Miss, BYU 7, Texas Tech, Oregon's 9. Listen, Oregon's win at Penn State's not looking as good. I realize I've only lost to, the number 2 team in this poll. But their wins are not nearly as impressive as some of the teams in front of them. It's a good team. They will make the playoff. Their only path to a bye is winning the conference, which is pretty much everybody's path, except for probably the second best team in the SEC, most likely. Maybe the Big Ten. One of those teams is getting that 4th seed, right? I don't think there's any doubt about that. Upset prediction for the college, for top college football. Missouri beats Texas A&M Saturday. That game's in Missouri, so that's a good one. A&M's pretty good. Mike Elko's a really good coach, by the way. And I'm telling you, I love the quarterback. I like the defense. There's not much not to like about this team. Missouri's good, and I know you love their quarterback, Michael, but Missouri hasn't, I think there's a reason, where are they ranked right now? They got 2 losses. They don't have the best resume. They're probably about where they should be. Of teams that were ranked high early in the year, obviously Penn State's long gone. Clemson's long gone. Miami pretty much just played themselves out. Without the sky falling in, I see no way, no path for Miami to the playoff. But then you've got some other teams that have a narrow window at the back of this poll. Michigan wins out, beats Ohio State. They're probably going to get in the poll in the tournament. FSU and Clemson spent money. No, actually, no. Clemson doesn't spend money, Carlos. This is why they're in the doldrums that they're in. FSU pays money. They use the transfer portal a lot and spend money. Last year, they didn't spend it wisely. This year, they spent it better. And they're a better football team. They're 4-4. They lost a couple of games that could have gone either way. They're not going to want to buy out Mike Norvell because they don't have Big Ten and SEC money. They don't have $56 million to just pay Mike Norvell to go away. I think they really want him to finish bowl eligible and be able to keep him around at least another year. Now, your comment about Clemson spending money is totally 100% wrong. one of the reasons Clemson has fallen off a cliff is they won't spend money. Dabo Swinney will not spend money. He doesn't believe in the transfer portal. He doesn't believe in NIL. That's not to say nobody's getting any money, but they're not spending money like the other big boys are. And he felt if he built an experienced team and got guys to buy in and stay there 2, 3, 4 years, have a third-year starting quarterback, that he'd be a contender. So did I. Wrong. Formula doesn't work. You have to spend money. Clemson doesn't. FSU does, and badly, to your point. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that pick myself. I like A&M a lot. I like Mike Elko. I gotta see. I still need some more time with that game, but I don't like it. If there was a top, I like BYU, by the way, to potentially, and not just kissing up to Janae, I promise you, but BYU knocking Texas Tech out this week would be my pick of an upset in the top 25. That's not a huge upset. I'd be careful at Louisville and Cal. I'd be careful. Oregon should be careful in Iowa. They like to get you to play ugly as they play. They play very good at home. They play good defense. They don't play a lot of offense, unfortunately, for them. But they are consistent at what they do. Yeah, I picked Clemson too, Carlos. So I feel your pain. Just recapping quickly, since we have the first playoff poll. Oh shoot! I thought this was I thought I had found my playoff picks. But this is not it. Where'd they go? Anyway, I can tell you I had Clemson to win. Texas, I would have in. I had Nebraska in. I don't think I had Indiana in the pool. In the playoff. I'll get there. UT should keep the coach. Not even close. Nobody's saying here Josh Heupel should be fired. Josh Heupel's done a tremendous job at Tennessee. They forget where they were with Jeremy Pruitt putting them, on probation, double secret probation. There hasn't been a coach that's had them relevant there since Phil Fulmer left. Tell me one guy I'm missing. Michael does think his work, BYU coming off a bye. I like BYU a lot. I know Janae's going to say she'll think they'll do great. Any chance you're traveling to Lubbock? I think Texas Tech plays in Lubbock for that game, Janae. I know you've done crazier things. And LJ Martin is set to be back. Listen, I love their quarterback too. Brockheimer, he looks like a linebacker. He almost plays like a linebacker. He wears 47. I mean, he doesn't look the part. You know what he does, though? He wins. That's all I want from my quarterback. Win games. Paul Spada still thinks the Quacks are underrated. They're right where they should be. They're in the playoff. They'll likely be in the playoff if they win out. They're likely not going to make the championship game because I don't believe they play anybody. Yeah, they play Iowa, Minnesota, USC, and Washington. They might lose a game. I think Oregon may lose another game. They'll still be in a playoff, would be my guess. The athletic department needs to do better. It's where they need 5-star. You don't get 5-star guys from Florida. What were we talking about? Oh, Tennessee. All right. I thought we were still talking about BC. Listen, you're not getting those guys. He's done a really good. You don't think there's been athletes? They got the best 2 corners in the country, probably. The quarterback has played great. They did great. They make out on the whole swap that ended up happening with Nico and Aguiar. He's better. But they're not going to ever compete with Florida, certainly not Georgia, Texas, or Alabama. They're not going to get those guys that they get. And by the way, the Florida guys, where the talent is in Florida, from Florida. That's what you're saying. That's where all the guys are. Everybody goes hunting in Florida. And there's also good teams in Florida that have to compete with it. And one of the reasons I think those teams in Florida have failed recently, I've talked about it on this show, is the fact that the competition in the SEC has gotten so great that those kids are going to Georgia and they are going to Texas and they are going to Alabama. And yes, you know what? They're going to Tennessee as well. Tennessee's going to be, they've been fine. They're going to be fine. A&M, nice. Your Nebraska team wins big this Saturday. Too little, too late. Who do they have this week? I don't even know. Without the quarterback, I have no idea what this team will do. But Matt Rule's sign there going forward. I think this team will continue to improve. All I want from Nebraska is to be relevant again. I want teams, and we talk about this week in and week out, right? I want blue bloods to be blue bloods again and be relevant. Nebraska hasn't been relevant. I thought the last 2 years they would make that jump. They really haven't. Matt Rule's got them on the right track, I think, though. And football's better when the Nebraskas of the worlds are good. When the Oklahomas are good, I'll give you that. I'll give you that one, Alan. Dooley, brick by brick guy. There have been many. Jeez. I don't know about Dooley. I mean, how many wins? I don't think he won a lot. I don't think his name is Dooley either, is it? I could be wrong. Oh, Derek Dooley. Yeah, my bad. Sorry about that, Carlos. I didn't mean to call you out. Let's see what Derek Dooley, just for the hell of it, I want to see what Derek Dooley's record was at Tennessee. Dooley, brick by brick guy. There have been too many. I hope you're putting him down because he's 6-7, 5-7, 4-7. So I think you're on the wrong or the right side of that. I think I read the comment in the wrong context. How's the football weather on the East Coast? Nova Scotia saw 3 inches of snow yesterday. We did see some snow out in Old Forge, which is a couple hours from here. We're going to be that we have a frost warning tonight. They have a code blue for the homeless because the wind chills are supposed to be in the low 20s. We've had really bad wind here for about, I don't know, nearly a week now. And when I say bad, I mean bad. I've seen stuff blowing around I've never seen blowing around. Dogs, small children, carriages. Oh, we don't call them carriages anymore, do we? Ducks rock. Heupel got vilified after clock management versus Alabama. Fickle fans hung up on that. Whatever. They are fickle fans, Michael. Instead of appreciating a great offensive mind, a solid coach. You know when they'll appreciate him? When he goes home to Oklahoma or someplace like that and he wins a national championship. Then they'll say, oh, man, you remember that? Remember we had Josh Heupel? Let me just check something else out here. I want to check out Tennessee football in general. Let me just see. Let me see if I can find what I want here. Hold on. Bear with me. University. It's going to give me not what I want. I want football. Hold on. Let's just look at. This is probably not going to get me where I want to go. Stay with me, guys. I'll get to your comments, I promise. Now you got me going down this freaking rabbit hole. Because this is what I do. I'll try something different. college football coaches. I just love rabbit holes. Let's just check this out, shall we? Let's go back. Before Josh Heupel, it was Jeremy Pruitt, who was 16-19. Before that, it was Butch Jones, who was 34-27. By the way, Josh Heupel's 37-15. Butch Jones, 37-24, fired. Derek Dooley, 15-21. Lane Kiffin, 7-6 in his lone season there. Phil Fulmer, great coach, 151-52. Johnny Majors fails there. Bill Battle was pretty good. Beyond that, we're not going to go backwards because it's just crazy. But they had some good football coaches before that. But 1, 2, I'm not counting Lane Kiffin as a winner. 1, 2, 3, 4 coaches before Josh Heupel failed miserably, not counting the interims. Tennessee fans, smarten up. Ohio State and Alabama recruiting in California big time. It's a nationwide recruiting cycle now, right? They got to compete. Ohio State especially. This is why the Big Ten wanted all, coast to coast, so that they can recruit coast to coast. Alabama, I don't know how they're luring guys from California to Alabama, but I guess we can guess. Oh, Nebraska has UCLA. You might win that game, Danny. Team's playing better. A little better. Interesting to see what they do with their coaches. By the way, another coach fired this week. Hugh Freeze goes down at Auburn. They're paying about $70 million for guys not to coach there. We're up to about 182 or 89 million being paid to coaches not to coach that were fired this year. Amazing. Is it great? Thank you. There's times it doesn't feel great. Yes, terrible coaching at UTA. I got you. Now I got you, Carlos. When I first read it, when I see brick by brick, I'm thinking, okay, methodical building and making the team better. No, because you go back to Lane Kiffin and these guys all sucked. Phil Fulmer, who has still got a lot, is so influential in the program, and I think was very influential in getting Josh Heupel here. Tennessee's going to be sorry when Josh Heupel's gone, and I can't believe I spent 30 minutes talking about Josh Heupel. I decided to go with the natural background, and because I didn't like the lighting. The lighting was getting off. I couldn't get it fixed. I wasn't crazy. Just needed a change, and I wanted to go with the more natural office background look. I kind of like it, and so we're going with it for a while. So it's much easier to get the lighting better. Believe me, I need all the help I can get when it comes to lighting for me. That reminds me, I wanted to check something here. I want to check that off. See, we got the enhanced lighting experience now. But anyway, I just wanted to make a small change, and I've kind of liked it. Plus, I don't feel as, especially when I'm doing hours and hours of shows, I'm not as cramped in without the green screen. Things are wide open here, and I like that a lot. Plus, you get to see some of my interesting, I got so many of my little toys around here, helmets and balls and bats. It's a football show. I guess I shouldn't get bats and balls out. But I feel like I got a little delay here. Now I'm going to turn that back off because I'm not liking what's happening when I do that. So we're going to turn that back off and see if that has any effect. I'm kind of talking to myself into the microphone. Tennessee 4th in bowl appearances and 5th in bowl all-time bowl wins. Pretty good all-time record. What's this show for these guys? This bowl records here? No. I was going to look at some of these coaches here. So again, if Phil Fulmer retired in 2008. Yeah, I like it. Thank you, Paul. How many do we want him to win? He's playing in the SEC against Alabama and Georgia. And you don't think Phil Fulmer's career stands up as outstanding? I mean, I think it's pretty damn good, man. Where's he finishing polls? I like the AP poll. He's finished third. He finished first. He finished fourth. He finished, I guess his last few years weren't great. 10-4, finished 12th. Phil Fulmer's for Tennessee. Again, if I go backwards, how many national championships does Tennessee have? Well, seriously. National championships, they have 4 under Robert Nyland. Obviously, the stadium is named for him. He won 4. Nobody else. Doug Dickey wins 1. Phil Fulmer wins 1, and that's it. That's the list. So nobody's winning championships at Tennessee. Yes, 100%. The 2 losses, and again, forget where Miami is now. We think about where they were then. Miami rose to as far as number 2. They lost to the third team that's ranked 3rd now. Close games. Last-minute losses. A&M was at home. Miami was on the road. Notre Dame's going to make the playoff, and I've said this since they were 0-2. This isn't news coming from me. I'm not just jumping on a bandwagon here. I'll find a tape if nobody believes me. And I don't really try to BS people. So I said at 0-2, if Miami won out, they would be in the playoff. And they've done exactly what they need to do, and they're not going to lose any games. The only thing that could potentially hurt them is USC having the bottom fall out. They still got one ranked team left on their schedule, and that's Pittsburgh. They're going to make the playoff. To be fair, they should be in the bottom 20s. That's fine. You can say, I mean, you're going to put these teams ahead of them? Who? You're going to put. So if I look at the polls, Carlos, how do I get back to the poll? I keep getting myself. There we go. So I went too far. Again, I'm looking at the playoff poll. Okay. So they should be in the where? Bottom 20s. So that means 20 to 25. So you would put Pittsburgh ahead of them. You'd put Washington ahead of them, Missouri ahead of them, Michigan ahead of them, Iowa ahead of them, USC, Miami, Georgia Tech. Listen, Miami, based on your logic, Carlos, should be much higher than 18, by the way, because they beat the 10th best team in the country. And, I'm just saying, Georgia Tech should be ahead of them. Virginia, Utah, Oklahoma, Texas. I'll give you Texas and Oklahoma if you want to get, but they'll have 2 losses. Who has 2 better losses than Notre Dame or the team below them with 2 losses? You want to move somebody up with 1 loss like Virginia? I'll buy that, but you're going to tell me that 15 teams are better than Notre Dame? Wrong. I'm not counting them as a blue blood. Maybe in Tennessee. I can't put them. To me, I can put Tennessee with Georgia. Right? They're not Alabama. They're not Oklahoma. They're not Texas. They're not Notre Dame. They're not USC. I can get them in the top 20, probably, Michael, right? When we did this a couple of weeks ago. Eric Angers were let down. I think 6. What's that, Danny? How many? Oh, they won total? Yeah, they won 6. 4 by Nyland, 1 by Fulmer, and 1 by Who'd I say? Dooley? Not Derek Dooley. Oh, Dickey. Doug Dickey. Right. Bill Battle had some good teams there. If you remember, Bill Battle's a very important figure in SEC history because he was the coach who brought Condredge Holloway into Tennessee. He was the first black quarterback in SEC history in 1970, what? 4? 74? 75? Bill Battle's and he had some good teams there. Couldn't beat Alabama. Oh, what's this? Sorry, Paul. Phil Fulmer was Peyton Manning's coach. I didn't say Peyton Manning did win, did I? I said T. Martin. I didn't say T. Martin won either. I didn't say Peyton Manning won. No, I know that. Peyton didn't win any. They kept running into Florida. Again, just couldn't get over the top. Good football team. They beat Virginia Tech and Michael Vick, if I'm not mistaken, in the championship game. Good stuff. Good stuff. So, again, we look at the poll. Let's look at this quickly again. So, Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss. Ole Miss is maybe the weakest link I see in this top 10, maybe top 12, right? If you look at the entire, or 14 even. No, I guess look at it as 12, right? I think Ole Miss is the weakest link here. BYU, I really like. Texas Tech, I'm not sure about this. Well, I think this game here will determine a goal. Well, it's going to go a long way to determine the Big 12 championship, obviously, but I think it may go a long way determining whether they have one or two participants in the national championship playoff. Oregon at 9 just feels right. Notre Dame 10, Texas and Oklahoma. Again, they feel right. I had thought there was a possibility Notre Dame would be at 11 and Texas would be at 10 this week. I talked about it Sunday. To me, the interesting spots would be those 10, 11, and 12 spots to see how about 5 teams fit into there. And it came out pretty much close to what I thought. I thought it might be Texas, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, or Oklahoma, Notre Dame. Didn't matter to Notre Dame. If they win, they're going to continue to move up. They would have moved up into the playoff. Utah, maybe a bit of a surprise at 13, but I like where they sit. 2 losses, two tough losses in conference at home is not a good look for them from an at-large standpoint, but still in play for the conference championship. Although they don't hold tiebreakers over BYU or Texas Tech, so they're going to need one of those teams to lose. Get to 2 losses, actually get to 3 losses. I don't see BYU doing that. Probably going to have to root for Texas Tech to lose another 2 games because they'd lose a tiebreaker based on head-to-head competition. Louisville and Virginia and Louisville right now, surprisingly, in control and controlling their own fate in the ACC. If they win out, they play each other in the conference championship game. Pittsburgh's still alive for that. Miami would need the sky to fall, as I said. Vanderbilt probably out of it at 16. Again, some crazy stuff's been happening, but I think Vanderbilt's out of it. I think Miami's out of it. USC would need a miracle. Iowa is an interesting possibility to move up. A win against Oregon at home this week would probably jump them up the standings quite a bit. And again, Michigan, I think, with a path to the playoff. Maybe of these teams we just talked about, I don't see Missouri with a chance. I don't see Washington with a chance. I don't see, Pittsburgh could get there based on winning the conference championship in the ACC, but they do have 2 losses in conference. And Tennessee's out. So Michigan is a team to focus on just a little bit. Let me just see. I'll get back to your comments in just a second. I want to just pull up Michigan's schedule here. Hang on, bear with me. Who's Michigan got left? We know they got Ohio State. That's the big one. So they're going to play Northwestern and Maryland before Ohio State. That's going to get them to 10-2. I'm sorry, 9-2. They're not going to lose at they're not going to lose at Northwestern. They're not going to lose at Maryland. So they're going to go into that Ohio State game probably in the top 15. They beat Ohio State. They're going to jump into the top 12. They're probably not going to, and they'll have a chance. Sorry, Oregon fans and Paul Spada. They have a chance to be that third team from the Big Ten. I don't see them getting 4. We went through this the other day. And we'll continue to do it. We'll count down. I mean, the chairs, it's a game of musical chairs, right? And if there's not a chair left for you when the music stops, you're in trouble. If Michigan wins out and Oregon stumbles, this could be a week in Iowa. Be careful. Michigan would be in the playoff. They won't be if they don't beat Ohio State. That's obvious. And I don't think they are. But I didn't think they were last year either. Manning, thanks for letting me know about Manning. You're welcome. They should get less points for being an independent. Why? It makes no sense at all. Now, with that said, I'm not sure how long Notre Dame can continue to play this independent schedule. I mean, there's a good chance the Notre Dame rivalry is over after next year because with these conferences going to nine game schedules, they're not going to schedule Notre Dame year after year when they can schedule 2 cream puffs and, some other rival. It's going to be very hard for Notre Dame to have a strong schedule going forward at some point. And they may be forced to join a league. And quite frankly, and I've said this several times, during COVID, when Notre Dame was going to have to cancel their season because they couldn't put a schedule together, and the ACC bailed them out. They played in the ACC for 1 year, and they have had an affiliation with the ACC scheduling wise for a long time. The ACC had them over a barrel and probably should have, used the whip because they could have really strong-armed Notre Dame into joining the league permanently if they wanted to, because they could have either canceled their season or joined the ACC permanently. But Notre Dame will go kicking and screaming because, again, you got to remember, they get to these bowl games and these playoff games, and that money's all theirs. They don't have to share it with anybody. If you're Alabama, if you're Georgia, if you're Ohio State, you're sharing that money with 16, 17 other teams. Teams who didn't even get there. So they're not going to go until they have to. Ole Miss is the weakest and wrong, lose again. Won't lose again. I got to see their schedule. And I don't know if weakest may not be the right term. Well, they got the Citadel. They could lose to the Citadel this week. Just kidding. That's what I'll be doing when I get on the cruise ship Sunday. I'll be watching the Citadel Ole Miss game. They probably won't. Listen, the trip to Starksville will not be that easy. The Egg Bowl will be a game they could lose. Mississippi State is better. They've run out of gas a little bit lately. Starksville is a tough place to play. Ole Miss can't trip up there. But they won't lose. As much as I love Lane Kiffin, and everybody knows I love Lane Kiffin, when he gets to the playoff, are they going to win a game? You know, are they going to win a matchup? And they're probably not getting a bye. I mean, I don't think they have a path to the championship game, do they? Where are we? SEC. We got 2 undefeateds. We got Georgia. I mean, they got 2 losses in conference. They got very little chance, if any. I'm sorry, they got 1 loss in conference. That's my bad. Well, they still have a chance. Georgia's got a tough route. A&M's got a tough route. Who's Bama got left? Oklahoma, LSU, Iron Bowl. Can't take it for granted. They probably won't lose again. Of that top 10, they're the team I'm talking about when I get to the playoff, Danny. I'm not saying the weakest resume as far as staying in the top 10. I'm thinking about advancing because I've seen, again, I love Chambliss. I love the quarterback. I'm not positive about this defense once we get to playoff time. That's my only. And they could change my mind. I've changed my mind on this team several times this year. The season started, I didn't think they were that good. Chambliss takes over at quarterback, and all of a sudden they're great. Michigan loses before Ohio State. Oh, if they do. I see. No if there. Yeah, if you lose to Northwestern or Maryland, you should. All Michigan fans should be in a rubber room. Notre Dame basketball is in the ACC. They've been in the ACC for quite a while since the demise of the Big East, and they played in conferences for decades. They were in the Big East for a long time before the old Big East folded. Well, it didn't fold, I guess. Half of it went away to other conferences like the ACC. But Notre Dame basketball is not even comparable to Notre Dame football. Success-wise, financially, that football team generates, tens of millions of dollars yearly for the university, and bowl games are worth a gazillion dollars, and all that money is theirs. So they didn't want to join the ACC, and if I was the ACC in 2020, I would have said, fine, you can join for a year as long as you stay here past that 1 year. I would have held the feet right to the fire. That's just me. But, Notre Dame basketball has fallen on some pretty hard times the last several years. Unfortunate. I'm reading a book right now about the Notre Dame team that broke UCLA's 88-game winning streak, Danny. It's really good. I think the title of it is that it? Was it 88? No. Let's see. Do I have that right or not? Where's my Kindle? One of several books I'm reading. I read a lot of books at the same time. Yeah, 88 and 1 is the title, actually. I'll show it to you. I'll give the book a little plug. It's really a good book. Jesus. I can't seem to keep the title up here. It's 88 and 1, though. You can you can't see it there. Check it out, Danny. You'll probably like it. 88 and 1. It's a great, it obviously goes in detail to those teams and the team season and players. It's really good. And 1, right. It's a good book. I don't know if you've read it. I just downloaded it on the Kindle. Well, I've had it downloaded for a while and I haven't read it, but I thought it'd be good to read a little bit cruise time. And I've got a historical fiction. What if it's really the story of it's called After Dallas, which is a story with real characters, historical fiction. If you're familiar with it, it's made up stories, but with real people in it. JFK survives the attack in Dallas, and it's the aftermath. It's very, very interesting. A lot of if you like that type of political intrigue and stuff, it's really kind of cool. and I'll probably start another book as well. I tend to read a fiction, nonfiction, a sports book, and a biography. I'll have like 4 books going at the same time. So, and now I've got more time to read, and it's a lot of fun. The fun is back. Let's take a look. Hello, Can. How are you, my friend? I was talking about Can and Flo from Bottom Line Sports earlier. I believe they'll be back. You guys don't have a show yet. You didn't do a show last night, did you, Can? Good to have you with us as always, my friend. I know Flo had said on the Sunday show that you guys were going to be back in full swing and getting started this week. And I think you do shows, if I'm not mistaken, Tuesdays and Sundays. So feel free to get a little plug here. And if you do have a show, please do me a favor, Can. And I've told Flo remembers. Somebody shoot me an email or a message on Facebook, I should say, and remind me so I can share the show for you guys. I'd appreciate it because you guys have been great supporters of my show, and I want to certainly return the favor. So give me the dates, days and times of your show, and we'll give you a plug. And remember to, if you can, to let me know to share it. Good to have Can with us. Good to have Flo back in the States with us as well. Let's take a quick look at the pool, and I'll make my the picks. It's always interesting to see what games that ESPN is going to throw at us, right? And then we'll see where we go from there. Nobody is setting the world on fire here. I'm only 2 games over 500, and I rank 6 in this group. But Beamer Balls that's Neil Bush is still leading the way with 60. That's not bad. 20 games over 500, I guess. Allen holding close at 56. Rick Sherlock is 55. J-Train, James Martin is 54. Danny is 53. Michael Dighton Edwards is 51, tied with myself. Our generic fan is at 49. If you ain't cheating, is at 48. Boston Paul's at 42, and Scott Kobe, who started late, at 33. He hasn't set the world on fire as he promised he would do when he joined late. But that's a story for when Scott's here, I guess. Let's go through the picks this week. BYU 8-0 at 8-1 Texas Tech. This game is going a long way. It's number 7 and number 8, by the way, in this first playoff poll. I'm going to go against the grain again. I've been doing this with BYU all year. I like them off the bye, as Danny said, against Texas Tech. Texas Tech still banged up at quarterback. They've got a really good defense. And again, Flo gets mad at me when I talk about the $55 million they spent because everybody's spending money hand over fist. Texas Tech is a really good team. They went in and won a really big game, tough game at Utah this year. Stumbled against Arizona State, who has not shown to be as good as they have been, especially where last year. I like Texas Tech in this to lose in this game to BYU. So BYU is my pick. Took me a long time to get there. Here's one of the bigger games on the schedule: 6-2 Southern Miss against 5-4 Arkansas State. I'm going to take Arkansas State just because they're home. Quite frankly, I believe we spoke about Butch Jones earlier. Former Tennessee coach is still the coach at Arkansas State. Could be in trouble and in trouble with that job. They got some big games on the card this week. 5-3 Jackson State Gamecocks against the 2-6 UTEP Miners. I'm going to take Jacksonville State in this game. Missouri and Texas A&M. I don't like the home team here in these conference matchups of two. If it's very good against pretty good, I tend to go with the home team. I think Missouri is a little overranked, if you will, much of this year. The resume is not sterling in my mind. Plus, I think there's a lot of distraction, I think, probably amongst this football team with their coach. I see no way Drinkowitz is coaching Missouri next year. I think he's coaching somewhere else. Penn State, LSU, Florida. Take your pick. I think Drinkowitz gets one of those jobs. I'm going with the upset here. I'm taking number 20 Iowa to beat number 9 Oregon at home. I'll take the upset here and try to make up some points here. They should give me extra points when you pick upset winners. Iowa State at TCU. Iowa State, their season has really gotten tough here. Matt Campbell still gets mentioned for every big job that opens. He's still on the list at Penn State. I'm sure he's going to come up at LSU. I don't know that he's come up at Florida, but the bloom is starting to come off of Matt Campbell's. He had a really good team last year. He's done a great job with we're at a place where nobody wins, or has won until Matt Campbell got there. Has had some pretty good teams. This team, I don't think has quite lived up to expectations, especially when they got off to a strong start, 4-0 this year, 1-4 in their last 5. I'll take TCU. My God, at home. Arizona, Kansas will go to Arizona. Kansas, great offense, no defense. Off to a pretty good start this year, fallen to 5-4. I'm going to take Arizona Wildcats, who have gotten progressively better this year. Wake Forest, 5-3, playing much better football than they played the last couple of years. But I like Virginia here. Virginia now kind of in the driver's seat, controlling their own destiny. In the ACC, undefeated in the conference. Them and Louisville are kind of on a collision course if they were to win out for the championship game. Florida State will go to Clemson. Listen, Dabo Swinney and Mike Norvell, 2 coaches that need wins. Clemson's not firing Dabo Swinney. Let's be clear. They owe him too much money. They are not going to pay him to go away. Dabo Swinney, on the other hand, he might be listening if somebody knocks on his door. A change of scenery might do Dabo well. And the only way he leaves, he can leave with, I think, a $4 million buyout, if I'm not mistaken. $6 million for Alabama, but he's not going to Alabama, obviously. But it would cost them tens of millions of dollars to buy him out. I don't see that happening. I think Florida State and Mike Norvell are stuck in this marriage for at least another year, as it would cost $56 million at last glance to buy him out. I'm going to take Clemson to win this game at home. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to take Florida State on the road to get the ship righted. Clemson without Klubnik, not the same team, and they weren't that good with him. Nebraska goes to UCLA. I hate to pick against my guy, Matt Rule, but I think I'm taking UCLA in this game. So there's my picks. Some interesting selections for ESPN this week. So good stuff. What do you got here, Danny? I want to say UCLA won 88 in a row. Lost to Notre Dame. They won 54, and I believe 142-1. That sounds about right, because that was 1974, right? Let's see. I think that could be right. I'm going to check it out for you, Danny. UCLA 140. I'm going to put it in that way and see what happens. I can't get it that way. I'm going to take your word for it. I believe it. That team was really, really, really good, by the way. We'll be getting into some college basketball talk as we, start to get into less, college football weekly. Obviously, we're going to be heavy college football through February in a championship game. But once we get into January, obviously, there aren't as many games. We'll get to the playoffs. We'll be heavily involved in all of that, coaching news and whatnot. But we'll start to ease our way into basketball. And, once we get to mid-February, it's basketball for the next 3 months. So I'd much rather talk NFL, but we'll do that on Sunday. Hello, AC. Good to have you with us. Sorry for coming in late, but you just got home from Atlantic City. Did you make some money? Saw your room service order. Looked yummy the other day. Hope you made some money. You got money bags there, so I'm going to guess you cashed. Yeah, I did switch to FSU for that as well. You know, Dabo and the coaching news is, as we talked about, you know, there's a lot of openings, right? I don't know. Did I pull something up here? I wanted to. There are more, I think, there are more big job openings than there are big names to fill them. I think you're going to see some coordinators get jobs. I think it's going to be very interesting to see where some of these guys go. James Franklin, to me, his name keeps coming up at Florida and LSU. Doesn't feel like good matches to me. Virginia Tech doesn't feel like a good match. I still think Stanford is the best spot for James Franklin. I think it would be a really good landing spot for him. I think it'd be really good for that university to have James Franklin there. Some of these guys whose names keeps popping up, like Clark Lee, like Kenny Dillingham out at Arizona State, like who's the other guy I was thinking about? There's another guy, coach Jeff Brom, coaching at their alma maters. It's going to be very tough to pull those type of guys away. I mean, you know, a guy like Clark Lee is living, you know, his whole family lives he right there where he's coaching in Nashville. And that is a big perk. And you're going to see, push come to shove, you're going to see some extensions come for some of these guys and get some big contracts. They're either going to go and get them or they're going to stay where they are. Lane Kiffin, I have said, even though the governor of LSU has said, oh, we're not going to be putting together crazy contracts, he doesn't get to say what happens. You know who does? The alumni. They're the guys who are paying off Brian Kelly. They're the guys who decided to pay him in the first place. The AD got fired this week. He got $6 million, I think, to go away, by the way. He said that he doesn't even know what he's talking about. He said several things that were crazy, that both the coach, Jimbo Fisher and Brian Kelly had the same agents, and you know, we can't negotiate with agents the way that we used to, and that's wrong. They don't have the same agent. He said that the taxpayers of Louisiana would be paying off this $53 million payout that had to go to Brian Kelly. That's not true. Taxpayers have nothing to do with it. It's all money's going to all come from alumni and from within the athletic program, not taxpayer money. None of these state schools are paying off these coaches. Just because they're the highest paid people, state officials, doesn't mean the taxpayers have anything to do with paying their salaries. Ugh. Sometimes I feel like I live in a different country, which we almost do here in New York State. Thank God I live as far away from the city as I do. Shocked at the people reveling in this election. It's just mind-boggling. I don't know what you may not be happy, you know, with my side of the aisle, but I can tell you what, if what you want is what New York City's in store for, you probably should have moved a long time ago. Anyway, that's my political comment for the night. Where was I going with all this? It's too early for me to pick where coaches are going. I think Lane Kiffin, that's how I started with. Lane Kiffin is going to find himself the highest paid coach in college football very soon. It's just a question of where. It's either going to be at Ole Miss, which my hunch says it will be, LSU, or Florida. Wherever he ends up, at least for momentarily, he'll be the highest paid coach in college football. Just saying. What do we got here? Yeah, he had a great few days. That's good to hear. Always happy. There's Scott Colby. Scott Colby's a little bit like Beetlejuice, by the way, if you haven't noticed. If you say his name enough times, he will show up. And he is just like that. he's a big Bill O'Brien fan, but he's testing my fandom of him right now. It's been tough. We talked about this at the top of the show, believe it or not. Chris Fgrave had brought up, what's it going to take for BC to be able to compete? They need alumni with deeper pockets. I don't think it's a no-brainer. I think it's a no-brainer. I don't think this is a rocket science. I think Bill O'Brien has not. It looked like he had him on track there for like a year and a half, right, Scott? And then the bottom fell out last year in the middle of the season and has continued through this season. I don't know what his contract situation is. I don't know what the buyout situation is. But this is not a program with deep pockets or has shown the willingness to find people with deep pockets, and they can't compete even in the ACC. If you want to call ACC, the redheaded stepchild of power conferences, they can't compete there. They might be better off in a league like the American. Just saying. Rutgers, BC. I'm saying Danny's saying Lane lands at LSU. That's tough to say. It's possible. I just have this hunch that Lane's at a really good spot at Ole Miss. You're not going to be. Expectations are what they are. You're not going to be expected to compete for a national championship every year. And it's the same thing as, to me, similar. Lane's not from Mississippi, right? But he's really built something there. He's done, again, we were talking about coaches, not, who's done well and who hasn't at Tennessee. Ole Miss has had nobody, especially in recent memory, who's had anywhere near the success that Lane Kiffin has had. And he could write his own ticket there and stay there forever, I think. But he might want another challenge and think, like Brian Kelly, that it's going to be easier to win a national championship at LSU or Florida. I think if he's smart, he stays home. Some of these coaches, though, like Dillingham and Clark Lee, you're at your alma mater. You're a place where they love you. You're probably set for life. You don't even have to, like I said, you probably don't even need to win national championships. You just have to have competitive football teams. And you can stay there and be secure for a lifetime. Or you can take that big leap and get fired in 3 years at Penn State or LSU or Florida. A lot of coaches see the bright lights, man, and they want to go. When you got a perfect situation for you right now, I mean, Brian Kelly would have been set for life at Notre Dame. He'd have never gotten fired. Never. Franklin's going to coach at Austin Peay. Well, that's possible. I heard Billy Napier is actually, Michael's got him going somewhere else. I don't remember the school Michael Dighton Edwards had for him, but I think Billy Napier is a better fit for your alma mater, Carlos, than Franklin. I will have a great vacation. The ship is named the Venezia, not the Titanic. I did go on a cruise ship, but I did buy a lanyard one year. I almost always wear a Patriot lanyard, right? Holding my in fact, you can see them back there on the wall. I think they're all hanging up. My lanyards. I don't think you can quite see them around me. I can't get there. Can I get there? You almost can see them. I got a Patriot one. I got a bunch of different ones. But one year I bought a Titanic one, and I wore that around for 10 days on a cruise ship. There will be a Sunday morning show. My plan on vacation is, again, for some of you guys that weren't here earlier, Jack and Keith's Weekend Playbook we're going to do shows that are going to be pre-recorded. We're going to do a topical, or our normal Friday show. This week will be recorded Thursday, but it'll still be like normal content. We'll talk college football, pro football, whatever. But the following shows, the next 3 shows after that, I think until the 21st will be recorded. We've got one about Major League Baseball, kind of a nostalgia look at baseball. We talk about some of our favorite moments and players and whatnot. Hall of Fame, worthiness, and a little bit of this year's World Series. We did a show on the fly. I thought about it while we were doing the baseball show, and we recorded another one in the next hour about boxing, which I thought was fascinating. We got some of Jack's backstory, which Rick Sherlock was looking for. We got some of that. And then I don't know what we're going to record tomorrow. I think we're talking about NBA, but I don't know what we'll do. We're going to record another show to put in the bank tomorrow. So anyway, to answer your actual question, this show will be kind of hit and miss the next 2 weeks. We'll do it at some point, at least to talk about the updated poll. And then the Sunday show I will still do on my vacation, except for possibly the 23rd, because I'll be traveling on an airplane that day. It'll be tough. We may do it when I get home. We may do something live, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon for an hour or two, maybe watch some football and catch up on things. But the Sundays in between, so the 9th this Sunday and the 16th, I will be live from the Caribbean. Will we be there? Maybe not quite the Caribbean on the 9th, but definitely the 16th will be in the Caribbean. Live from the cruise ship Carnival Venezia. And I'll do the professional sports. I'm sorry, not the professional sports show, but the big football show before that too. So we'll have some fun. It's always fun doing it on the cruise ship. We've done this now for about 6 years, and I've had a blast when we get to do it. So it's a lot of fun. He already paid well, and Clarksville is very close to Nashville. Who are we talking about? Franklin? Who are we talking about? You got to help me. That chicken parm room service didn't come cheap, but it was worth it. It didn't look bad. Jeff Landry needs to worry about opening the government now. Well, he's not. Unfortunately, Jeff Landry, or fortunately, based on his comments, should worry about getting the government open, right? But the governors aren't going to be in charge of that. It's going to be the senators, and we can blame everybody about that. There's no question about me who shut it down, but but we need both sides to get it open. We'll touch on this quick. Every real king in history has promised the people socialism. The king takes all the wealth and promises to distribute it equally, but other people's money will always run out, and then things turn very bad. Well, anybody with money will be leaving New York City. They'll probably be joining me here upstate. Doug Flutie ain't walking through that door. Speaking of BC, BC had some good teams through the years. None as good as that Doug Flutie team, coached by Jack Bicknell, if I'm not mistaken. Scott Kobe, you can help me out. I think maybe Paul, you can too. Actually, I think that was Jack Bicknell. They had some good teams under Tom O'Brien. They always seemed to be. They were similar to Miami now. They'd get off to good starts when Matt Ryan was a quarterback. Carnell Williams is a running back. I know these teams very well because a good friend of mine's son was a starting offensive lineman there for 3 years. Josh Beekman through the Matt Ryan years, and they had some great players in Blackman and the kid, the lineman linebacker who got drafted by the Giants, whose name is escaping me. They had some really good teams, and we went to all those games. Had a blast. East Potomac State, that's the Billy Napier landing spot. Pre-recorded is an appetizer, but it's not the same. We can't interact. Just saying, I understand, but there's no way for me. I'm not here, Danny. I love you guys. I can't do, I can't do 14 hours or something live on vacation. I'll be thrown overboard. You'll get me 2 hours live on Sunday mornings. Well, 3 if you count the hour I'll do on the big football show. You'll get me live when I do I'll do live the college football huddle. It just won't be at 7 o'clock on Wednesday. It'll be whenever I find a free hour or so to sneak away into a corner and go live. Probably Wednesday. Just to keep it on the same day, but you'll get me live then. And the only thing you'll get pre-recorded is the Jack and Keith weekend playbook. So I understand and I appreciate the thought. It's just something to play with. With that said, though, I'm thinking we have to pre-record Friday's show, even though I can do an MLB update. I can't do the Friday morning show because of a commitment I have, so we're going to pre-record it tomorrow. But I'm thinking about going live when we do it, which would be about 3 p.m. tomorrow, 3:15, whatever. We're pre-recording one of the shows for when I'm out first, and we're going to pre-record. We were going to pre-record, but I think I'll talk Jack into going live then, and then I'll replay it. Similar to what we did at 6 a.m. on Monday for Jack's benefit. Took some binoculars trying to figure out, try to figure out how far you can see out at sea. I do take my binoculars all the time. And sometimes I'm even looking at the sea. My wife's watching. Jack Bicknell, good coach. Yeah, it's thrown overboard, probably. My wife is very lenient that she gives up basically, well, she's probably happy to get rid of me on Sunday mornings, but 8 to 11, it's a long time. So I think we're at sea. I think we're at sea both those Sundays. I'm pretty sure, which makes it a lot easier. Less hustle and bustle. I'm always trying to find a place where there isn't a lot of people, but wherever I go, people frickin' congregate as soon as I get there. I've even brought people on the show. Somebody bringing me a drink, I get them on the show. I have a lot of fun doing the shows remote. So believe me, I've done a lot more live. We won't have any after tomorrow or Thursday or Friday. We won't have any more MLB updates for a few weeks. We'll put that on hiatus. We will probably continue almost weekly through the off season because I think there's going to be a lot of news, obviously, with free agency and trades and, an impending work stoppage, which is really going to piss me off. But we'll talk about that on Friday. Other games this week, though. So anyway, any other questions you have about the next couple of weeks, ask me. I will try to give you guys a heads up when I'm going to go live. If I get up on a Wednesday morning and I know what time I'm going to try to sneak off and do the show, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever it is, I'll post it to Facebook. And then you guys can come in and participate. I appreciate the sentiment, Danny, and I'm happy. I love the interaction. Doing the shows with Jack without your guys' comments, doing 2 hours worth of them yesterday. It's a different experience. It's fun, but it's different because I've gotten so used to interacting with you guys. It's a big change for me, and I enjoy it. You guys I have a co-host, and it's all you guys, and I love it, quite frankly. Always have. Sometimes the names kind of rotate in and out. Like we lost John DeLon on this show. Don't know how. Big LSU fan, big SEC fan, and I miss his input. We used to go back and forth. Danny, we'd go back and forth more. Actually, we had some serious disagreements, actually, him and I. Now, you and I have a lot of good-natured ribbing for the most part. He and I really had some knocked-out dragouts. But new faces come in to replace the old ones, and we've got guys that have been around a long time. Now, Danny, you and Paul have been around a long time. Chris F. Grave. Michael's now been here quite a few months. Rick's been with me since the beginning. Rick Sherlock, Kenny, Billy Pulver. A lot of the guys you see. Drew has been with us through most of all that time. Especially on the Sunday morning show. So I love it. Believe me, you guys have no idea how much fun this is for me. Oh, we're all good. Hey, mine was with John, too. We'd have a lot of fun. Who's been popping up on the show a lot is Kevin Mitchell, former Met Giant Seahawk. What's going on?
She's crying because she didn't get to say goodnight to you.
Oh, hang on. Hello. Hi. Can you see me? Can you see me? I love you. Oh, I had to give my granddaughter a good night because she's upset. You love me. I love you. Aw, don't cry.
She just misses you.
Aw. Scarlett, I see you soon. I promise. I'll see you pretty soon. Okay? I love you too. You gonna sleep well now? I give you to Grandma, okay? Okay. I love you. Bye-bye. Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, guys, but that was more important than anything else we were doing on this show. Very much more important than that. She was crying. She hadn't seen me all week, and not even on the phone. It's funny. Last night when she was on, she was pretty much ignoring me, so it was funnier. I was crying last night. She only wanted Grandma last night, so tonight she missed Papa, and I'm happy that she did. But I don't like to see her cry. Makes me cry, actually. So, right? Oh, breaks my heart. Got to see her now tomorrow or Friday before we go away for 2 weeks. We'll see her. We call. We FaceTime with them because she's used to it. So, oh, right. I love that little girl. I didn't know what my wife was saying because I had my headset on. I couldn't hear her, but I'm a little verklempt right now. So. Anyway, I appreciate you guys for indulging me in that self what I want to call it, self-indulgent moment, right? What are some of the other big games this weekend? Are there any big? There's not a ton. We talked about Texas A&M, Missouri. We talked about BYU, Texas A&M. Maybe it also is why ESPN's got those games that they have. Oregon, Iowa, big game. Miami's got kind of a big game. Now, Syracuse, not a very good team. They need to just obliterate this team because guess what? For them to have any chance, even if the sky falls, style points are going to be huge. LSU goes to Alabama trying to salvage their season. West Virginia trying to continue the mayhem in the ACC and knock off Virginia. By the way, you're going to see Virginia's got one loss, and it's against NC State, but in a weird scheduling quirk, which I think these two teams have had before. It was not a league game, so very interesting. Penn State gets Indiana. Don't think that's really going to amount to much. Is there anything else that's really got playoff implications before we wrap it up here? And I do so appreciate you guys allowing me that self-indulgent moment. Indiana goes to Penn State. Georgia, again, Georgia, be careful. Georgia looks like a team looking to lose. I talk about teams like this a lot, right? And then they find a place. They're going to Starksville. They're only 1-4. Mississippi State in the conference. They're 5-4 overall. They're much improved under Jeff Lebby. It's going to be very hard for Mississippi State ever to get to the top of the SEC and stay there for sure. But this team has improved. They can beat somebody on a given day in Starksville, and I like their chances of being in this game. But Georgia's found a way to win. BYU, Texas Tech, probably the biggest game of the day. Ohio State's going to Purdue. The Citadel's going to Ole Miss. I'm sure that's a big payday for the Citadel. That will be a big, big defeat for them. Missouri gets A&M, another big game. Oregon and Iowa, another big game. Syracuse, Miami. Auburn, Vanderbilt, few frees out of there. Auburn's 1-5. Vanderbilt, tough loss last week. Can't afford to lose again. Auburn's a live dog here, but I think Vanderbilt comes back and wins pretty healthily. Washington will be the latest team to beat up on Wisconsin. Luke Fickell death march continues. Wake Forest at Virginia, as we said. Cal goes to Louisville. Cal's sneaky 20-point underdog They might be able to keep it within that. LSU goes to Alabama, and Navy will go to Notre Dame in a game that lost a lot of luster with Navy losing to North Texas last week. A very interesting contrast in styles in that Navy-North Texas game. So in any event, I think we'll wrap it up. If you guys got nothing else for me, I appreciate you guys so much. I see Jeremy out there, didn't comment tonight, but hello. Ken didn't give us any update, but check out the Bottom Line Sports podcast, which will be back with Ken and Flo and Ken. Don't want to mix up the headline there, the headliners. And anybody else has been watching us tonight on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all the groups that allow me to share this later on. Thank you. And we'll see you the next time we'll see you will be with Jack and Keith, probably tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to talk Jack into going live so that you guys can do some commenting. Check us out. Be watching for the alert that we're live 3:15-ish. How about that? Sometime around that. 3:15. And then we'll replay it at 8 o'clock Friday, and I'll be live at 3 o'clock with the MLB update. And then after that, our next live show will be live from the Carnival Venezia somewhere in the Atlantic Ocean before we get to the Caribbean, I'm pretty sure. And we'll talk about that later. But it's been fun, guys, as always. Keith Engle for TGI Sports Talk College Football Huddle. We'll see you when we see you next week. At some point, we'll do an update. I promise you, a college football update. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Keith Engle, the host of TGI Sports Talk on the National Streaming